Okay, I see it now live on Facebook
He
pop
is
up on
now
my phone.
live
Yep.
streaming live. Oh my God.
Awesome. I think we're good.
Yay! She's so smart. Okay. And then the only thing we need to make sure, since I'm not doing this, is make sure somebody's recording the actual one, because again, it kicked me off. So make sure the actual thing is
But yeah,
live on Facebook and recording in iCloud. I'm sure they hear me, but hopefully they can do that, because I can't. All right, so I think they have it.
Yes.
I was trying to see if I actually see it. Happening now. See, it did that to me the other day and said that we were on, but then we really weren't.
It says I'm on. We're on.
Okay, beautiful. We really weren't. And we're recording.
Yeah, we're going. Time delay.
Okay, I'm pulling up my, yep, you're on there. Emails. Do you guys want to, where is it?
Call the meeting to order.
Yeah.
There we go.
Zoning. Finally. Okay, I think we're not doing the Pledge of Allegiance like we did the last time, and then I can do roll call just so we're doing it.
So we're official.
Do you guys want me to go ahead and do it?
Go.
Councilman Benedetti.
Here.
Councilman Curl.
Here.
Council President Shrimp. You're on mute. Mute.
I read lips. She said here.
We can read your lips. Councilman Bruger.
Here.
Councilman Wolf.
Here.
And McNamara is not here. Perfect. Okay, next we have legislation.
Okay, a quick update for anyone out there who's logging on to watch us. We did have a legislative committee meeting tonight. We talked about some ideas for the beginnings of ordinances for sidewalk repairs. No decisions were actually come to at this point. It is still in committee and not ready to be sent to the full council. There will be future meetings of that announced when appropriate. All right, so we have two things tonight. Both of them are second readings. The first is Resolution 2020-11, a resolution adopting the rules of council for the council of the Village of Minerva Park. And what is that again about?
It's about addressing
yeah.
liaison to planning and zoning.
Thank you. There we go. The planning and zoning.
The legislation is directed towards me, giving the council a way to kick me off of the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's basically the underlying reason for this piece of legislation that's coming up. Or better yet, to say that there weren't any rules in place for the removal of the liaison.
Okay. So this is legislation about the steps that would be needed to remove a liaison from, there we go. Sorry, I had the wrong sheet on top. Council at their discretion may choose to remove the council liaison on a majority vote. That is what that is essentially adding. Sorry, my pages are out of order there. So that has been read for the second time. And then we have 06-2020 ordinance. This is for changing the makeup of the Planning and Zoning Commission, adding 2 non-voting members, or up to, I should say, 2 non-voting members, assuming we get people who want to do that. And that is the legislation read out.
You're up, Aaron.
That's all I have.
All right, so next we have, I'm assuming, I lost it again, I just shut it.
We're
business.
already on to
Only thing on the agenda.
new business.
We just have new business?
That's it.
No,
Oh, an old business.
Mark,
And as I say, this is more just a thinking about things as I was watching somebody today on the TV talking about the terribleness that's going on. I know we had lots of projects and I personally thought, hey, we have lots of projects, but we're going to have a fair amount of revenue coming in with the new section and all that new tax dollars. I think we need to, I don't know, I just wanted to say, realize that we're probably going to be trimming some of the projects. You know, if we have half the village miss out on a sixth of their income for the year because they didn't get to go to work for 2 months and we're on income tax base, our projections could be a fantasy that go away, or maybe not, because I don't know how great, we haven't had a finance
have
committee.
a problem. It's just how big of a problem.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
mean,
remains to be seen, but I hear what you're saying.
I mean, I really, you know, like, so, you know, we might come down to like that baby pool. I want that stinking done. And, you know, maybe something else, but some things just, and
Well, I
some of
think
this
the
just to
baby
announce
pool
to people who might be listening to this, there might be projects that need to get pushed down if we have big budget shortfalls.
Right. Well, I thought
That's
in
all
the
I had.
baby pool, wasn't there like a grant? Wasn't there like $75,000 grant?
yes.
You know, so that money's not going to go away.
Mhm.
That one's not, but I mean,
I
yeah,
know what you
you're
mean.
completely correct.
You can't throw the baby out with the pool water. We got
Yes.
sewers.
Did we haven't actually, I can't remember how we get the 75. Do we have to invoice it or they don't, or do they give it to us?
We're right now in the first stages because if you guys remember, we have to have an architect put it all together. So then we have to send it in for final approval before we can actually even put it out to bid. We've not even put it out to bid yet, but at the end, yes. But if you guys remember, just as an FYI, it's $75,000, but the first estimate we got was $100,000 and we've added
Right.
15 right off the bat. So
Oh, yeah,
just for the
75 's not
architect, so
gonna
it's still gonna
cover
cost us a
everything.
pretty penny.
Yeah,
Right, and we don't know if we're gonna be dictated to keep the municipal pool closed for the season. We don't know that yet either.
well, even if, well, I'm not sure that we weren't in a position where it was going to be open this year anyway. I
No.
would like it to be ready, hopefully by next summer, we'll be at least opening the pool. Because I really hope this thing doesn't drag on that long, but who knows?
Well, I think I'll send out an
pool is
email regarding
closed.
a finance meeting. So I think we're about ready to have one.
Mhm.
I would agree.
Yeah, I know with our financial officer changeover and everything, that was all crazy and up in the air. And then the last one we had, I don't feel confident in the numbers that were presented to me at the last one we had. I'll put
No,
it that way.
absolutely not. And
And
I
be
think
neutral about it.
any meeting we have, we would certainly want Kim to be there because, you know, it's the level of discussion is a little higher than just looking at the latest postings.
Even if she can't physically be there, we'll have her on some sort of FaceTime, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So that will not be an issue. But no, I think getting it scheduled now is great. And, you know, Mark, not to put you on the spot, but having you on there and having the availability to do it during the day would be great. I know that that's not going to be able to happen, you know, here on out, but for the next couple months, maybe we could do it earlier. Who's our third person?
David,
Okay. So
Um,
we'll see how that pans out, you know, with his schedule. And I know he kind of has a really odd but flexible schedule too. So
yeah, no, we talked about that. I have his best days written down. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, but I think he prefers Wednesday.
okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, once we figure out what days work for you guys. And then same thing, going forward as of right now, it doesn't sound like much is going to change for us inside the building, just kind of old business, new business, I guess. At this point, it sounds like if they're able to still continue to work from home, they want them to do that. Right now, Becky and Leah are coming in quite a bit. Leah was there until 7:30 or 8 o'clock the other night. But we do try to do alternating, like, you know, Becky usually comes in the morning. Leah's been coming in later in the day. Kelvin, same thing. He's been coming in really early just so he can get out of there because, again, he has some health concerns, and a couple of them do that are in there. So we've been kind of alternating people different days, different times, different hours to make sure that they're not on top of each other, because clearly nobody has their own private workspace except for my office. So even Leah and the chief of police share a 10-foot by 10-foot room. Nobody could be 6 foot apart from each other in there. So at this point, the goal is to get everybody in there a couple hours a day or every other day or whatever, just so they can do the basic things, because honestly, as you guys know, it's difficult to work from home. So you can't get the mail from home. You can't go to the bank from home. You can't do a lot of that kind of stuff. So they are coming in, they are doing the things that they can do, but it sounds like for the short term, nothing's really going to change for us. I don't know what Mayor's Court's going to look like yet. That's something that, like you mentioned, he didn't really say too much of anything. Having the potential of 10 to 50 people in Mayor's Court, making them stand outside in the potential of rain, may not really work out either. So I'm not sure legally what we need to do, what we have to do, and what we plan to do yet. And then as far as opening the building to the public, I mean, again, we're just kind of wait until May 4th and see who's opening, who's not opening. Is that a possibility for people to be able to come in and pay their tickets again? Is there a possibility of, people dropping off permits and things like that? Right now, we talk to people through the door. So when we are there, but again, it's hit or miss whether or not you find anybody there. And I shouldn't say that. There's always somebody there. So it's just a matter of what it looks like for the next couple weeks. At this point, I would still say the meetings are going to continue this way, unless you guys say other, once we see. To me, it was still confusing as to what's really opening on May 4th and what's really opening on May 12th. So again, having that many people in there, I don't know what your guys' feelings are towards it. There's less than 10 of us. So if you guys want to separate throughout the tables, if you guys want to continue to do this, even if other people are coming in, I'm going to kind of leave it up to you guys as to what you guys want to do. To me, this is very difficult. I don't like doing it this way. I am ready to get back and try to get to work. Safety obviously is more important. So I understand we have to do what we have to do. So there's a lot of things that I think that we're not moving forward on at this point because we feel like we're not able to. So Tony, this kind of goes towards you. I have some times and dates that we can have a discussion with Mike Flickinger to talk about East Shore Court, to talk about moving forward on, because as of right now, it's just sitting there. We've done nothing. He has everything.
Talk about well, you know what I want.
Store, yeah,
What's
we
going
have
on
all
up
of that
around the
stuff ready
Jazz
to go. So
Market.
now we're ready to talk about it. I have dates and times. Honestly, I was holding off in hopes that there would be a chance of maybe more of a sit down conversation with just all of us. Again, I don't really know exactly what May 4th is going to do for us. So at this point, I think it's still going to be a Zoom meeting, which is not ideal. Yeah, it's not ideal for something like that.
Tiffany, I got a couple questions, if I may.
Yeah.
Are first responders going to have any access to any kind of the 2 testings? And then the second thing was on East Shore, my neighbors are going to have a vested interest in being in on that someplace. So
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's a conversation between the engineer and the finance team and everything else. I mean, they can be a part of it. I have no problem with that. I mean, as far as transparency goes, they can watch the videos, they can do everything. At this point, it's a matter of getting our ducks in a row, finding out what we're able to do and not able to do in the committee. They're public meetings. They're more than welcome to, but just like you guys have seen in the past, a lot of times not all of the meetings are for public interaction. It's for work to get done, things to get done, and to be able to discuss these types of things. I think Brian, I know he's on mute right now, but I think he can vouch for that. Sometimes you have to have meetings that you're talking about the necessities, and interaction may not be possible right away.
Yeah,
there's not much
message. My next door neighbor asked me, both of them asked me about it every 5 minutes, so I can just carry a message.
Again, I get it. There's nobody that doesn't get it more than you. My neighbors' trees have now fallen because they've been saturated with water. I mean, we have the same conversation every single time. They've lost their apple trees. They've lost everything due to the puddles. And I mean, these trees were how old, and now they've lost them because I get it. I'm suffering just as well as everybody else. There's a plan. There's, but there has to be money. So at
Well-
this point, we also know, just like Mark had just mentioned, if anybody doesn't think that the income that's going to come in is going to be significantly lower, I mean, maybe I'm out of touch with reality, but I know what my income's going to look like next year, and it don't look like what it looked like this year. So
That's what I was
I mean,
thinking.
no, you guys are going to be really disappointed with what I'm contributing to RETA next year compared to what I did last year. So I have a husband that's not working and I'm not working. So my mayor's salary is what this household's getting compared to what it was. So I think there's a lot of households that are very similar to mine, and the future is not looking bright considering very little's opening up the 12th. I understand health and safety and all of that. So all the point to that is these people that live in the village that have any of the jobs that are not opening, 3 months, 4 months off of work, and then thinking that it's just going to snap back to reality is not going to happen. I think we can all agree to that. People aren't just going to run out and spend, all of the money that they didn't make for the last 4 months somewhere. So the income is going to be significantly lower. I think we can all agree or disagree or whatever. I don't know how.
We have people in the village who work in restaurants, who manage
Yes.
restaurants that, even if they do open, the idea that we're going to say open and all of a sudden TGI Fridays will be packed
Right.
is goofy.
Right. So
Well,
I'm
right off
not in
Right off
disagreement.
the bat, how much of our revenue is income tax based? Because I haven't got a free pass on the real estate taxes yet.
98%, I mean,
2/3.
most.
Yeah, it's significant. The amount of money that we get from property taxes compared to real estate taxes don't even compare. Not even close. I mean,
I think it's about
for me.
2/3.
I pay 5 times more in real estate, and probably more than that. I pay probably 5 or 6 times more in income tax than I do real estate tax. And I would think that you guys are all probably pretty close to the same. So yeah, property taxes are a couple $100 is all the village gets per house. I mean, I think mine's between
I
400 and
think it's like
600.
it's like 400,000 or 500,000 property taxes and
It's
income tax is like close to $1 million, I think.
It's projected to be over 1.2 million this year.
Yeah.
So it's significant. Yeah,
Yeah, we're not like the school districts that are all
No.
property tax and no income
Correct.
tax.
right. And you got to remember, we're not getting any property tax from the new development. It's all going into the TIF. So, we're not, yes, the money is not there. So, and with a lot of people's income. So again, I hear everybody. I'm hearing people on Westbridge. I'm hearing people on Elmhurst that their backyards are completely now flooded. It's now gone from the corner lot and it's now moving all the way down. One of the residents was out getting rocks and different things like that because it's so bad on their corner. And I know you guys, some of you guys know this, but across from where Blaine lives, between Elmhurst and Westbridge, the water just sits there. It's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. It's getting worse. Now it's going all the way down towards Woodley. So there's numerous pockets and I know Tony's alluded to this numerous times, the East Shore Court project and the Elmhurst and Westbridge and the Jordan Road project. There's so many projects. Not one is more important than another. So while I hear the frustration and while I hear all of that, first off, this is not an excuse, but I've been sitting in this chair for 3.5, 4 months. We're at 4 months now. So I hear everybody. I've gotten the emails. I'm sorry that nothing has been done for however many years that it's been working. But at this point, there is a financial restraint that doesn't just allow me to write a check. The other part to this is there's 6 council members that have to approve these particular projects once we get to that point. So the council, the first thing that we have to do is get to a meeting and discuss what the new options are. The last part to that is we have to have funds to actually do the project. And at this current state, we do not have the funds in place to do any of these. And until we come off of this pandemic and court systems open and all of that kind of stuff, we can't transfer the money. So there's no reason to move forward as if we're going to do all of these different projects, put it out to bid and do all of this stuff and continue to spend engineering money if we can't get the money transferred over. And right now, we don't know if we can do that. We assume we can. We all believe that we can, but it has to go through the courts, like Gene Collins has said.
Aren't the sanitary sewers given a priority?
Sanitary, of course, is going to give a priority because water floating around in my backyard is definitely, in my opinion, well, maybe I should start with that. Water floating in your backyard or sewage floating in your basement sewage floating in your basement is probably going to be a higher priority. Yes. That being said, as of right now, as you guys are all aware, the $500,000 project has been placed on hold because at this point in time,
The state's
there
not
is no
guaranteeing the
funding for
money.
those projects. Even though we were approved, they've basically taken the approval. I'm going to go with, they basically said, here you go. And then they go, oh yeah, we were just kidding. So as of right now, yeah, we have a $500,000 project that should come before any storm sewer project, in my opinion. So I'm not going to talk finances right now because we need Kim and Leah to be able to walk us through and see where we're at and where, what we need to do. But at this point, we know how important it is to get people's yards back to where they can use them. There's not a question about that.
And Joe, this project started before we ever started analyzing the storm sewers. So,
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, Tony.
well, and that's why this project is, it may not be the top priority when we're done analyzing all of the storm sewer issues. Like
Well,
I say, every time this topic is brought up, is that the problem in your backyard and your neighbor's backyard is a combination of a couple different things creating the problem.
Well, I was
And
discussing
we
the
need to address
sanitary
those
sewer.
things first before we go forward with the project in your backyard and your neighbor's backyard.
I wasn't even talking
every
about that,
time.
Tony. I'm talking about the sanitary sewers being a priority and they're health related. So that's why I
Yeah.
brought.
Well, I'm going back to your initial question, Joe, is about East Shore project.
Well,
East
and
Shore
to be
Yeah,
project.
fair, I
well-
believe, and to be fair, I believe it is still a high priority. I mean, everybody that has a water problem is a priority. I mean, whether you consider a high priority, low priority, it doesn't matter. I mean, these people are all spending the same amount of money to live in their houses and pay their taxes. We will be talking about a couple different things that is contributing to the East Shore Court issue that I don't know if they've been rectified by the homeowners. So that's something that we'll talk about. I'm not going to do it right now. But that is something, Tony, and I know you guys were all aware of it when it was brought to my attention last year. And I don't know, I don't know if that was taken care of.
Our code specifically says that all gutters
Yes.
must go out to the curb.
And they were apparently running into the backyard, and I don't know if it's been.
Right into the area that's floods. They got to, their whole,
So there's
their whole house goes
Yeah,
back.
and I don't know, and to be fair, I don't know that they're aware of it, not aware of it, but it should not be that way. So that's something that, if it's all, but that's for a streets meeting, it's going to be a long topic. But that being said, unfortunately, we're in a Zoom meeting. They will be able to, any of the residents are more than welcome to go on the Zoom meetings and do all of that. As you are fully aware, we had a couple different meetings about the East Shore Court project and stormwater and all of that, and we brought the residents in. That will happen again, but we're not ready for that to happen because,
Well, because I live here, I guess everybody thinks when I mention sanitary sewers, I'm talking about East Shore.
No, that's
point I'm
storm.
trying to make, we're going to have to do something about prioritizing the sanitary sewers if those
Right.
get put on
Well,
hold.
we have, Joe, that's why the last project on hold will complete the sanitary sewer remediation.
Right.
Well, I only brought it up because I thought Tiffany just said the state pulled the plug.
Well, they pulled the plug on financing.
I didn't pull the plug on anything. Again, it goes back to
No,
the same thing.
Tony
We don't
said
have the
they,
funds.
Tony was referring to the state in his comment. He said they pulled the plug on financing.
Yeah.
Right.
They
So-
did.
He wasn't saying you pulled it, Tiffany.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Everybody knows that's been, trying to get the store.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that it's been a priority for me. I mean, as far as sanitary
Yeah.
sewers go and storm sewers go. But to be fair, I don't feel like one person, anybody that's getting sewage in their basement is definitely going to be a higher priority, whether it's their issue, our issue, working together to find out whose issue it is. And, the Ohio EPA and everybody else's will agree with that. But there's not one project, whether it's East Shore Court, Elmhurst, Wildwood, my backyard, or anybody else's that I believe is a higher priority than the next. So again, they're all a high priority. So it's a matter of getting into one. And I guess, I think what Tony's alluding to is because somebody's screaming louder than another. doesn't make it more of a higher priority is all I think, we were talking about. I get it. Trust me, I hear people complain all day long, and I hear them, and it's warranted. The unfortunate part is this is where we are now. These are the problems that I've inherited, that we've all inherited as council people and whatever, and we're going to do our best to get through one at a time with the finances that we have. It's as simple as that. And I'm, again, I'm not going to prioritize anything over top of somebody else's because they're screaming louder. So
Gotcha.
I will say
And
that.
that was what?
Well, just to be clear, other than the sanitary sewers, I mean, the
Yeah,
sewer,
exactly.
yeah,
I mean, the sanitary sewer is always going to take a priority because that definitely, the stormwater is irritating. The sanitary is a health concern.
right. And
I
so have they
understand
pulled the
standing
plug on
water.
didn't I hear somebody say they pulled the plug on the sanitary part of it?
Yes.
We might have to try and plug it back in, my point.
We're, again, if this ends, again, I'm not implying that the coronavirus is going away, but if people start getting back to work and people start doing different things like that, it's possible that the government's going to put it back in and we'll get it. I mean, it's just right now it's on hold because they don't know if, they're looking at their budget. So when they were told to look at their budget, that was the first thing they stopped was, okay, we're giving away all of this money. And that was within days we heard that they were stopping it. So I get it. I completely understand because we're going to be put in that same position. Our income is not going to be as high as it was last year. I mean, well, again, we have more houses coming in, but a lot of
So
people
maybe it
are,
will be.
yeah. So with the
Maybe.
additional houses being done, I think, again, the income tax is going to it's going to help. It's obviously going to help. It's not going to be gone. It's still going to be a significant amount of money, but we're also going to take on a significant amount of projects in the new development. I mean, we're already aware of how much the grass is potentially going to cost, and maintaining that property is not going to be cheap. And we all know that. I mean, you don't get all this income with no expenses.
Sounds like maybe we should focus solely on sanitary sewers on a work session up soon. So
Need to wait until they decide when and if they're going to release that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I mean, we have to at least give that one a little bit of time. I mean, again, we've already been approved for it. So it's something that, the money, as long as they put the money back, that one's fine. I mean,
And we didn't
that
have
one should go
anything in the
forward.
sanitary sewers that were imminent danger of collapse. So
Well, it's-
we have time.
I wonder if, does Hollins have, I mean, in this particular instance, sometimes lobbying helps with
Yes.
with the city government, and would Hollins have an in or know somebody who could, express how important this money is for us?
thank you, Diane. That's the point I was trying to make and somehow didn't get it out right.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's just it's been not even a couple weeks. So I really think it's just been a matter of sit tight and see what happens, where it happens. Yes, he's aware of it. Mike Flickinger's aware of it. Our grant writer is aware of everything that's going on, but whether or not we still believe that we have a good chance of getting it or getting a majority of it because of what our project entailed compared to some of the other ones. So, I mean, again, when they go through it, they're probably going to go through priorities, and ours is definitely going to be one of the higher priority ones.
Well, okay, if you say so. I mean, in government, usually it's the squeaky wheel. So if it's Mary Light Body or whoever it might be, they've been to the Minerva Park I don't know if anybody came to their meeting or if they ever really had a meeting, but Joyce Beatty, I mean, if there's someone that the Village of Minerva Park could send a letter to, it's just keeping your name out there, like you really need this money so that they have an argument when they're holding session. They can say, yeah, and the Village of Minerva Park is another one that really needs this sewer grant money. It's just good politics, that's all.
It is. Right now,
Well-
the whole thing is on hold. So
I know
there's,
that.
yeah,
We should
there's
probably
nobody getting
schedule
anything
then.
right now.
We should probably schedule a communication meeting then and discuss how we liaison with our state representatives on making sure that the sanitary sewer part doesn't stay on hold.
Well, it's gonna stay on hold until they make that. That sounds like a great idea. So if I can make a suggestion, let's move on to scheduling what meetings we need to schedule.
Well, we got
because
old business here.
We're talking stuff that's committee meeting anyway in the middle of our big meeting. Now, I don't have the authority to say that we have to do that, but that is my suggestion. Hey, Dave.
Hey, I finally got the link. The other one wasn't working.
Well, good afternoon. Good evening.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here finally. I was typing and tapping away trying to make things work.
Did you just call me by any chance?
I did. I said, hey, are we doing this in person? What are we doing here?
I
'Cause
was trying to get to the voicemail and I was like, that phone number looks familiar. Sorry. I was trying to, but
Hey.
I was trying to be like incognito. I was trying not to like make everybody realize what I was doing. So
It is
Sorry.
all good. I was typing away. I was trying to figure out how to get on, lost track of time. I said, forget it. I'm going to call. And here
yeah,
we
we're
are.
here.
All
All
right.
right. So
Before we
we
go into
are
David,
getting ready.
Well,
David DeMayer's in the It's a Small World ride in Florida.
I see.
I'm dreaming big right now. I'm wishing. So,
Yeah.
and actually my other computer was not working. So I had to get on this and this is my background on this one. So, okay. So we're getting ready to go. Anybody else have any new business?
I got some old business.
All right. So let's go to old business.
I wanted to talk about the sidewalk program real quick here.
Okay.
You know, it was implied that planning and zoning sent up this legislation, well, I am on planning and zoning. I've never seen this legislation that, or the Powell's sidewalk program. So to imply that this has been approved by planning and zoning and sent up to council is inaccurate. It's completely, I wouldn't say completely different, but it isn't what planning and zoning has seen. So, take a look at it and think about how far we want to get into a program for sidewalks.
So.
I own
when-
property in Powell, Tony, and they made me put sidewalks in. How's that? That's all I know about it.
Well,
And when I said it,
making people put in sidewalks, what we're talking about is how they maintain the existing or maintain the sidewalks that are now in the village.
so when I said earlier in the legislative meeting that this was, I felt the spirit of what planning and zoning had sent up. Planning and zoning had sent up a recommendation that sidewalks need to be kept in good repair, essentially, that we have to have a program to deal with that. That one, we should have a method by which the village would just do the repairs and charge the resident. And two, we would have also an option for the resident to fix it on their own. Certainly this proposal is much more detailed than just that, but it's my understanding that legislation like this needs to be detailed so that you can go back and look at it. So I would say no. From the meeting I sat in and what I was handed at that meeting, this very much is just the nuts and bolts, nitty gritty details of what planning and zoning was asking for.
Well, the 70 years I've been around, usually if somebody does have a sidewalk and they're required to maintain it, they give them a citation and they fix it themselves.
Yeah, I know.
Always work.
That's worked quite well in many other municipalities without having to go to all the detailed program that's proposed.
We can debate that.
Yeah, we're going to debate that.
Yeah, but what I was saying is the material that was sent to me, and when I sat in that one day on planning and zoning and listened to it, was that it was the opinion of that committee that they wanted avenues for both individuals repairing it themselves and an avenue for the city repairing it and just charging that residence, which
Oh, I
is,
oppose that right off the bat.
Well,
I'm not
and-
saying we should adopt it or not. I'm saying that's what that's what planning and
Right.
zoning presented to me when I went to the
I will-
meeting, so I could do it for legislation.
And
I
somebody
would say
brought
that
nitpicking.
I happened to go to a Westerville council meeting because I thought they were going to talk about their, a new facility they were going to build, and then they didn't talk about it. They tabled it. But while I was sitting there waiting to see, they were talking, they had a work session before the council meeting, and they were talking about the sidewalk repair, and this was last year. And Westerville was trying to get the, I don't know who, committee chair, I think. There was a lot of feeling that it was very painful. They were doing this one that we want to do. They were doing that. They were picking an area of the city. They zoned the city off A to F. And then they picked a zone, and then they started this very process. And then other council people were after 6 months or a year of it, other council people were begging him to take it back because they got so many complaints from residents. Residents were so angry about this dinging them or making them pay or putting the lien on. And then another council person was saying, you know, the logistics of invoicing and keeping track of all this crap was terrible.
It's a nightmare.
And they were having a quite a robust discussion about the pros and cons, and they never made a decision at that meeting, so I don't know how it landed. But there are a lot of unhappy council people in that. It was kind of divided. It was like the one guy who was in charge of it against the other council people. And, you know, he was not doing real well. So just FYI, I don't know what Westerville ended up doing, though. They ended up taking it back or what.
Diane,
Westerville has the ability to go out and build sidewalks with their own maintenance department. We don't have any of that. But if there is a sidewalk here and it's a safety hazard, somebody can red tag, you know.
Diane, I feel like that's kind of the way planning and zoning, when I was in there, when we were talking to Tony, and kind of went back and forth. I think, I don't disagree with Mark. There has to be, we can't just let the sidewalks deteriorate and go to nothing. So there has to be some sort of plan. In my initial conversation with Eric a long time ago, way before I was mayor, was who's responsible for it. And I want it in writing because because we don't have sidewalks in the old development. I wasn't aware or what we actually had on our books. So that was part of the initial discussion was, you know, I had brought it up a couple different times. We need to make sure that we aren't the ones getting charged for it. So when we went through the planning and zoning over the last couple months, there was definitely exactly that, Diane. It was a lot of back and forth between, you know, what there, and I'm not naming names. One person wanted it to be done. Homeowners didn't really get the opportunity to do it. The village was responsible for it. We hired somebody in there. We sent them a bill because they wanted it to look more uniform. And Eric, if you can shake your head yes or no, that was kind of one person's direction. Was they wanted the colors to match. They wanted it to look uniform and they wanted it done right. Then there was also discussion as to, you know, my view was, my concern is exactly who is going to go out and do this. So are we going to have, because obviously this is not something you see from a car. So this is somebody that's going to get out and walk every single step of, in my opinion, this is somebody that's going to get out. They're going to walk every single step of that sidewalk over there, and they're going to put X's on every single one that needs replaced. So like you're alluding to, who's going to go back out there 2 months and walk every single piece of that to make sure that it is in fact done? If we give them the 60 days, like you're saying. Okay, so if we hire somebody and they come out and they fix it, and now we've got people complaining, and Eric, don't take what I'm about to say wrong, but this is the pros and cons. You know, let's say we have a guy come out and he fixes it all, and now, you know, you got 5 homeowners. Oh, this looks like crap, even though it really doesn't. It's fine. It's up to standards. But now you have homeowners that are mad because they don't like the person that we hired to go do it. They don't like the way that it was done. Now we got to listen to that. But then you have the people that don't want to do it. I mean, here's the other part. It has to be fixed. I mean, it is a safety hazard if sidewalks are uneven. I lived in Westerville. I had them marked on my own street, on my own property. We sold the house. We never fixed it. They were marked probably 2 or 3 times. I never got a bill, and I'm just being that one person. I was 20. So I didn't really know any better. I didn't fix them. I never got a bill, and we eventually sold the house, and I never fixed it even then. So that's my negative 20-year-old. This is, oh, sorry, whoever bought my house. But again,
Well,
there was no
Westerville
follow-up.
didn't come fix it, did they? Or send someone in
they
to
never came and
actually
fixed it.
repair
They
it?
just-
That's my point.
Correct. It was up to me to do it. But my point was there was never a follow-up. So they, even though they had this program, they continually came out and just marked it. I got a letter at some point in the mail that said that I needed to fix anything with an X on it. But that was that. I never had it on my property taxes. So again, I guess my only point to you guys is when you guys make this decision, you need to make sure that we have the manpower to address it. So whether this means that Kelvin or, code enforcement's going to go out, we send somebody else out there, whether it's a council person that is, maybe it's the streets chair, or maybe it's somebody on the streets committee that they go out and mark. I'm just saying, I agree with Westerville's concerns. Who's going to man it? Who's going to, put the liens on the property? Who's going to collect the money? Who's going to call them every 2 months and say, hey, you haven't paid this bill? Are we again going to send this to our fiscal team or our administrative assistant? So just make sure that we have the manpower to actually follow through with this. And again, if we're the ones, if they come in and get a permit for it and we charge them X amount of dollars, we need to make sure that we are actually going out there and checking it once it's done. And, if we're going to put this into place, it needs to be done right. So I don't want it on the books if we're not going to do the follow-up, if we're not going to send our code enforcement officer out there to review it and make sure it's done. Because again, that to me is why you're charging a permit. So to make sure that
There's
it's done
another
right.
point. There's people that are going to claim unfairness. If you don't have a sidewalk, you don't have to maintain it. Then if you do, and someone's causing you to spend money on it, people are going to complain. Well, it's
That
unfair.
they can complain. They can
What are
complain
you
till the purple on
talking
that. They bought the houses. They have the sidewalk. It needs maintained.
Right.
It's just like anything. That's one of those that. And I will already tell you, and Eric has already seen this, there are people that have already complained about the curb and gutter over there. And I hate to say this, but as of right now, we're inheriting a problem that people are already complaining about. I don't know the outcome. I don't know if MI has any interest in fixing it. There's a lot of cracks and different things like that. And, again, is it normal wear and tear? Could be. But to me, it's a little early to see some of the cracks. I do understand that, some of the thicker places are where they're supposed to crack and all that kind of stuff, but these are above and beyond that.
Well,
And he was
That's
upset.
a lot of new fill in the new section. And so there's going to
Yeah.
be settling that causes it.
Correct. So, again, all developments have it. It's something that, all my point is we are inheriting these problems, questions, concerns. I don't want to call them problems, but, ultimately, yeah, they do settle and these developments move out and, we are inheriting the workmanship. So whether it's great workmanship now, 2 years from now, we don't know, but they will be gone. And most of that stuff is not under warranty after a year, Eric? Is that pretty?
Yearish, but for the public stuff, we'll have a conversation, obviously, prior to acceptance.
And they have been really good with that. And I know that was brought to their attention. So I don't want to allude that they're not fixing it or whatever, but I mean, there are people that are over there that are definitely paying attention to their sidewalks. And, I'm sure MI's coming through and replacing quite a few. And we'll make sure that we're on that because there are a couple that are already cracked in front of people's homes. And then a couple that are there's a couple that are over by one of the detention ponds that there's a gap and you can't really see, I don't know where my camera is. That's like this. There's one that's facing downward and one that's facing upward. And I can't believe they haven't fixed that because it's definitely a tripping hazard over there. That's actually the worst one. The cracks don't bother me. These ones need lifted, both corners. So anyways, we'll work
It
on that.
sounds
later.
like we have.
Eric,
lots to discuss
are
at
curbs
legislative.
and gutters included in the same basic category as sidewalks, or is that how we're doing?
No, this is a sidewalk program, period.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So
The right of
we have a
way.
lot to talk about at our next legislative meeting. So do we want to wrap up this general session and schedule our legislative?
I don't think are we done with new business or old business?
Oh,
Tony?
sorry.
I
I
am.
don't know.
I have a bit of old business.
Okay.
All right.
And again, I guess, I'm really sorry. I didn't have I must have accidentally deleted it or it got lost in, somewhere, but here I am. I sent out a message to the council and the mayor a while back about the lake remediation plan. I was attempting to, kind of where I stood, where we were going to try to go when things return to normal. Did people get that?
Yep.
Well, I would
Okay. Are
say,
there any, comments, concerns, things we'd add, I guess?
I would say that as the committee needs to make that decision. It's not kind of like your decision.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. These are the things that I was just musing about.
Yeah.
Agenda items, if you would.
Yes. Yeah,
me
again,
personally, I think everybody needs to, and I already heard Diane say it. I've heard a couple of you guys say it. I'm not anybody's boss, but yeah, definitely meetings need to be. I think some of us will agree that this is going to go on for a long time and we can't just, if it goes on 6 months, we can't just not do anything for 6 months. So we're going to have to do the things that we're able to do. I know we've continually talked about dredging. We've continually talked about how we're getting funds. We've continually talked about different things, but we don't have an answer for any one of those things. I understand that the trees are an issue and I don't want to get into the lakes. We all have things to do right now, but there's things that there are things that should be worked on. We all have, most of us have more time than we have had in a long time. So if people need help and some people have less, but most of us don't. Most of us are sitting at home and trying to figure out what to do. So if anybody needs help with anything, making phone calls, but here's what I'm not going to do, because it's kind of bit me in the butt the last couple times. You guys need to direct me on what you guys want me to do. I'm doing the things that, on some of the things that I need to do, I'm doing. But if it has anything to do with that, you guys are going to have to direct me, because I'm not just going to start making phone calls on getting, somebody to look into getting grants or whatever, or loans, and I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. I don't know that you guys are going to have much success in the next 18 months with grants and loans, considering where we're at right now.
I can't imagine us being too lucky
maybe there needs to be a different discussion as to where we go from here. What do we do for the next 12 months, 18 months? And I'm not saying that we can't get money. That's all for a topic that I think everybody needs to have their meetings, and everybody needs to get a plan that if this goes on for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, what can we do? What can we do short term? What can we do? So that's kind of where I'm at on my set, telling everybody to try to get some meetings going.
I'd like to
Well,
start.
I'm trying to make a point that some of the stuff that's purely intellectual and basis, where there is time, we could do planning things without having to act upon them.
Well, a lot of people
I wasn't
forget.
trying to make some kind of massive, again, they were just my musings, my ideas. I just tried to write them up so they made some kind of coherent sense.
Getting someone out here to take a look at the trees was a great idea, and I think we need to move forward on that for sure.
Absolutely, and I'll get back in touch with the State Forestry Department. That's credit goes to Joe for that idea, bringing that to the attention.
But I guess here's my next question: if they're not
we
able
don't have
to
to pay to have trees done. We can figure out which ones need something done, at least.
And there's also some areas, I was down below the dam. That's an area that we are taking on now that, there's trees over there that I don't know how they're standing up without the roots are all eroded, dirt's eroded away from the roots. And
again, we can discuss this when we get a meeting planned. I will send the two of you gentlemen, at least, or I can send the council as a whole ideas for a community meeting that people would have time to attend. But Madam Mayor, I believe you were leading up to something.
No, I'm just, all my point is if anybody has anything that they want me to try to set up, I don't know how quick a lot of government type things are going to continue to respond. So again, if we want recommendations from different people, maybe we need to look outside of government options. And, like he's saying that there's different tree things. Maybe there's some other companies that we can call, because again, getting recommendations from multiple people, and a lot of people are still working when it does come to government projects. So
absolutely.
Well, there's the whole concept of volunteer service too that I won't get into right now, but we could do that at the committee level.
Right. But again, and I understand you can't have more than, you can't put groups together and this and that, but you could easily be having, I hate to say this, with a lot of people that have been home. Saturday, some of you saw how many people came out to just get ice cream. If you could get just a fraction of those people to come do trash pickup around the lake or different things like that, trying to coordinate something right now. Again, we have multiple areas that people can go to. They don't have to come to just one. We have 3 detention ponds and a north and a south lake. Put something together, give somebody, give them something to do. So, it sounds like we're going to be like this for the next month. It could just be like a quick couple hour, here's some trash bags, have at it. I don't know that it would work, but it's something that you are more than welcome to see. Hey, put something together and there you go.
Yeah.
You don't know if something's going to work till you try it.
Exactly.
So let's plan a meeting for the community committee. We can try to get some stuff reestablished.
My papers are in the other room, but I'm going to go through this really fast. And some of you guys already know this. The leaf bid is ready to go. It's going to be advertised probably within the next 7 to 10 days. June 15th, it was the date that I used for all of the bids to be in by, and for that leaf bid and the trash bid. So I've sent that out to everybody, or just to the committee, can't remember which, but those are getting ready to be advertised. We will also send them to the people that have been doing it in the past. We'll make sure that they have access to being able to do it, remind everybody. So those are both done, ready to get advertised, and we will send those out. That was probably the biggest thing.
They looked good to me from what I can, you know.
All we do is modify it from the last one. They take 20 minutes. It's not anything that's that exciting, except for we want to make sure that we get it out, get it done earlier in the season, and maybe potentially get a couple more bids for it. Once we get the bids, then we'll bring it to I'll bring it to the streets committee. You guys can review them, and then you guys can introduce whichever one you guys want to try to move forward to for the next meeting. And then we have plenty of time for the 3 readings, and then the 30 days. So we're right on target where we need to be.
The trash one also looks good too. I assume that was just kind of a continuation.
Trash and leaf are both done. They're going to go out the same day, and they're due the same day. So
Yeah, they looked good to me.
yeah. And then I talked to Josh. I have both of the documents. One of them's like 18 pages long. My plan is to, and I was actually going to do it today. I'll do it between today and tomorrow. I'm going to, the next time Becky's in, I'm going to have her upload the information to the website. I'm going to put a post out that basically refers to, we are going to be spraying the park and the pool and If you need the information for the chemicals, please visit the website, because it's 18 pages. I'm not going to try to upload a document to the Facebook page because it never seems to work. But if anybody wants to share it to the Facebook page, feel free to. But I will post, it will be on the website. We will get it on the website as soon as Becky is able to get it on the website in the next, whatever day she's there, today, tomorrow, the next day. I will post, and I'm only telling you guys this, there might be 6 or 7 people watching this online, or, whatever. His goal is to, depending on weather, try to get the park and things like that done Friday. That was a big hope, that maybe some of this stuff would start opening up a little bit, but since it doesn't sound like it's going to, again, we're not in a huge hurry, but it's supposed to rain for the next 4 days. It's supposed to be nice Saturday, and then it's supposed to rain 4 days again. So he's going to do it when he can do it. Simple as that.
Yikes.
Yeah. If you look at the weather, that's going to be an issue. And then this is just something for you guys to know. And I guess it was kind of a surprise to me. I have had them cutting the grass over the last couple days, actually the last 2 weeks. If you guys have issues, problems, questions, concerns, please let me know. If there's an area that you feel like is not being done enough. My view is not to have them on the lawnmower 24 hours a day, try to get 7 to 10 days between that. Let me just go with that's not working, because I have had numerous people, more than 1, more than 2, more than 3, tell me, ask questions. Are we not cutting the grass like we used to? Are we not? Why is the grass so high? Why is it? So for the record, for the people that don't realize that, people want their grass looking like a golf course. So I'm not complaining. I'm not anything. It was just a surprise to me. It really was, that I've had, because to me, it doesn't look like it needs cut, and people are asking for it to be cut before it. I'm just pointing it out.
Well,
So
are
if
they
anybody
aware
does-
are they aware that the contractors or workers, the lawn people, are restricted on the number of people they can have help them now?
With us, we're government,
they
so
are.
we have one go to one place, one go to another. We don't really have any issues because we don't have, we don't have a contractor, so we're able to get out and do it because we don't have them standing on top of each other anyways. So we have the ability to send somebody to the pool and somebody can cut, and that's what we did today. One cut the pool, or one cut over at the pool, one cut at the community building. So we have the ability to split people up and do that. I don't know if they're aware of that, but it doesn't really affect us. But I'm just pointing out to you guys that, and I just like doing it because, again, I tell you guys more than anybody I think has ever told you guys in the past. And again, I'm just pointing out that it surprised me how many people were questioning, why we aren't cutting as much as we should be.
Well, I think that
They're
this,
entitled to
I
an
mean, the
opinion.
standard can be, you can set the standard. If it's 2 inches is, if they don't like 2 inches, 2 inches is fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
just-
no,
if you have a standard, if you just say what it is, but certainly cutting it too short just means it's not as healthy.
I agree.
I mean, yeah,
2
yeah.
inches is 2 inches is short.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 inches
2
is
inches is
pretty
very
darn
short.
short.
We actually cut it on 2.75 to 3. just so you know,
Yeah.
that's what it's cut at. But you know, again,
Yeah.
it boils down to we are cutting. But the other concern that we have is a lot of it's too wet to cut. And I think
Mhm.
that's the problem that people aren't really getting. Because again, there's some areas that we haven't even been able to, the issue becomes, do you want ruts or do you want to cut? So there you go. That's all I have on that. So that's old business, that's new business. And I think other than setting up meetings, we're done.
Okay. Well, how about since everybody, let's see, I guess everybody is on here. So, since we have everybody, do we want to go through like, David, we were trying to do a finance meeting. So, Tiffany, do you know when Kim and Leah would be most available? What day of the week?
Leah's not going to be the problem. It's going to be Kim. I'm going to try to text her, have other people do theirs real quick, and I'll see if she responds.
That's finance. Then we have legislative, or Mark, were you gonna do a special one or just?
Yep, I was thinking, if at all possible, we don't have anything going on next Monday, right?
Right.
That would be.
Well, we
good.
definitely need to do a communication meeting.
Well, we're
relative
doing
to-
we're doing
We'll get
legislative
to-
right
we'll
now.
get to that.
Hold on. Hold on.
Next Monday, the 4th for legislative, are you guys on the legislative committee? That to be Brian and Diane, okay with that? And if so, what would be a good time? I can certainly go earlier than 6:30 if need be. What are your thoughts?
7 is what I'd like to keep to 7 if
Yeah.
that's all right.
Totally talking on mute. I'm free May 7th and good for whenever.
This was Monday, May 4th, actually, we were looking at.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay, all right, so let's do 7 o'clock then. It's a little bit late, but that'll be fine. 'Cause
Who
we-
who all's in that committee?
I believe that's Diane, Brian, and myself, correct?
Right.
And you guys want 7 p.m.?
Yeah.
I mean, is that going to be a big problem for you? Because I've asked them because I knew they were on the committee and forgot that you were probably going to be there as well, Mayor Hughes.
No,
What's your-
because if I can't do it, but I'm assuming you want Eric there too.
Oh, and I forgot to talk to Eric too.
Hey, I'll be there.
Okay, Eric's good then. Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
No, I have no problem with it. I just wanted to make sure that everybody else who all was on there.
Boom, it's in the tiny book.
I'm writing them down for Becky.
Okay. How about community?
So, community, let's see. So that is myself, Councilman Benedetti, and Councilman Curl. Do either of you have any schedule
I can do it.
restriction?
Whatever works best for you works for me.
Councilman Curl, do you have any time restrictions right now?
Well, we've been doing this in the evening, so I don't have daytime stuff that conflicts.
Okay. I would love to get things moving. Is it possible to set one up for maybe tomorrow evening at 7? Or is that?
No, 24
No, okay.
hours in advance. I would tell you yes, but no. It needs to be 24 hours in advance, but I also have to make sure, and I can post it. So that's not going to be between myself and Leah. Sorry, I've disappeared. Myself and Leah, or regardless, I can get it posted. So as long as you do Wednesday or after.
Okay, let's see. I'm supposed to work this weekend. So we have legislative
Thursday.
at 1900. Would it be possible to do Monday the 4th at 6 p.m.? Is that too close? Anything else?
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Unless somebody's going to take control of it, you guys just saw what happens. When I log off, log back in, try to log off of Facebook, it locks it. It's done that twice because I'm trying to do
Because Monday the
one
4th is
meeting right into the
legislative
next.
meeting.
It's my internet apparently is not strong enough or something's not strong enough. So if I have one person that can do, like I can be there for both. But the only other issue that we have is you just saw what happened. We ran out of time with Marks. So had we been able to have another 15 to 30 minutes, we might have been able to knock something out. Don't shake your head at me because you're right.
We were
hardly
just
anybody
15
still-
minutes shy
Yeah,
of
community
consensus.
needs to have its own time. It
Okay,
never works.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So how about Tuesday the 5th at 1900? Is that acceptable to people?
Yeah, my only suggestion, that's good, because if we use Mondays for committee meetings, then
Tuesday.
it gets confusing because we're doing, work sessions and council meetings on Monday.
Okay, so Tuesday.
Okay,
the 5th.
okay, and again, I welcome everybody who wants to attend. My email was, again, I have no intention of, being dictatorial. They were just my musings about trying to get everything reestablished once things return to some sense of normalcy. But if we need to modify or go in a different direction, we're a democracy. That's the most beautiful thing about it.
We'll talk
Okay.
about it on Tuesday.
Okay, I
Exactly,
just
we'll
told
talk about it
this-
on Tuesday.
Yep. Next
that
thing
again.
we have is communication meeting.
Hang on,
Communication.
whoa.
What?
I tuned you out. When is community?
Tuesday. The 5th.
Tuesday at 1900,
Tuesday.
You
the
gotta
5th.
give me
7
real numbers.
o'clock.
What time is that?
7
7
p.m.
p.m.
Oh, Tuesday, the 5th. 7 p.m. Got it. I'm ready. Okay.
That's
It's
all.
real
Give me more
easy. You just
precise
subtract
numbers.
12 from the number, Tiffany.
I
Okay.
know. I can do it, just not that fast.
Joe, what about the communication meeting?
I think we should do that in enough time, and you and I could talk about this ahead of time, Diane, about inviting any of the representatives we may wish to invite, since it's virtual, to be part of it.
Here's what I'm going to cut you off for 30 seconds because I love doing that. All I'm going to tell you is when I send out all of the invites, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send everybody the invite. If you want to come, come. If you don't. So that way people can come, they can come in for a little bit, they can leave, they can do whatever. So you guys schedule it as your committee, but know that I will be inviting everybody to your meeting. Sorry.
Right, he
Well, I
was
was
talking
speaking
about our
our
state. He was
state and
talking about,
congressional representatives.
right, he was talking about our state representatives. So do you want to put it out a couple weeks so that we can send out an invitation?
A couple of weeks would make sure they had enough notice. It's more than
Right.
we need, but we could maybe try and pin them down on attending as long as they have advance notice.
Yeah,
Is this specifically just to try to find out about the grant?
well, it's one of the things that communications could do.
Because all I'm
Well,
gonna say is if you start to have a meeting for this and they completely cancel the grant or we already get it, if that's the main thing that you're trying, I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just saying if that's your main focus on that, it could be resolved before if you schedule it out.
Well,
5
that
to
wouldn't
6
be for
weeks.
me because it kind of falls into finance if you're talking about grants and money. But the communication itself would be, being able to network communication when we need it for that or any other issue in an emergency.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree with meeting with them, but if you want, I guess my point is, if you want to focus on that for like the next meeting, but if you've got other stuff, and maybe you don't have other stuff to talk about.
Well,
Because you
I'd
could do one
laser in.
now and then plan ahead for next month or, 2 months from now when we can actually meet with that person too.
If we're having
Ideas.
the 42nd Congress district attending or state representatives, I'll have to laser in and get real specific with an agenda ahead of time and stick to communications for communication meeting,
Right.
not finance.
And I don't want to
I
say
guess
Mary
that's what
might
I was
buy-
asking.
Can we, we're trying to get through these meetings, so if we can't decide on communications, can we move on to finance?
Well, I thought we decided 2 weeks.
Well, we didn't, except for what date and what time?
Well, I got to move to a calendar, but 2 weeks from tomorrow, how about that? Or two weeks from Wednesday, excuse me,
2 weeks from Wednesday would be the 6th?
at 7 p.m. or
No.
No?
2 weeks from
Is that a
Wednesday is the
planning and zoning,
13th.
If I'm not
P and
mistaken.
Z? No,
Yeah.
that's taken. So how about Tuesday, the 5th?
that sounds excellent.
That's
No,
Cinco
wait,
de Mayo, you
two-
guys, come on.
Wait,
Well, wait a
Tuesday's
minute.
the,
Can't go anywhere. What the heck you?
Tu-
No,
Tuesday,
we
the
already have
5th
one at
is,
7. That won't work. We already have one at 7.
Ya lo más palabras todos, eh?
Yeah.
Too many words.
Okay, Tuesday, the 5th is out.
So we've got one the 4th and the 5th. Why not make it the
He-
6th?
Yeah,
did
the
say
seven.
fifth,
Sorry, the
fifth
seven.
is no.
I don't-
no
I don't know
comprende.
about anybody else, but if we're saying 2 weeks, that would actually be the next week. So 2 weeks would be the 13th,
It would
I don't
be
even know what
indeed.
date.
right? That's,
Yes,
I, yeah. That would be the Wednesday, 2
Wednesday
weeks
the
from now,
13th?
which is fine by me.
Okay, what time?
7.
7 seems to be the way.
I think I can unplug the
Am I the
phone.
only one that hates 7 o'clock at night?
No,
Okay, yeah, I mean, by the time we get done with these, you're giving yourself like an hour and it's like, demon Christmas.
Well-
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so communications Wednesday, the 13th at 7 PM, Joe, right?
yes.
Okay,
Okay, so 5:13 at 7 PM is communications.
right.
Am I doing this right?
5 is
I have a
community.
Calendar up here.
4 is legislation.
Yes.
Legislation.
Okay, finance is finance.
Yes,
What about Kim? Do you have any idea?
yes. Give me some dates. What are you thinking?
I hate to
Well-
interrupt. As mentioned earlier, I do have more flexibility during the day. I am live on my own conferences with my students from 12 to 2 every day. But
4
other than
PM.
that- But other than that, can come in during the day.
Okay, and then we probably want to have this meeting after they've closed out the month of April. Might as well
Okay.
kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So is the 7th or the 8th, or do we need to go to the following week?
She just said, here's what I'll tell you. 4 PM is what works best, 4 PM-ish.
I'm good for the 7th or 8th, next Thursday or Friday, not next,
Yeah,
next
she
Thursday or
says-
Friday.
Not the 5th, not the 11th, or not the 14th. So I'm gonna go with all of those work.
I am working, in theory, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. So,
May 6th? But May 6th, is that the P and Z? Oh,
Yeah,
we
but
were
that's
doing
not until
earlier.
late.
We're
Yeah,
doing
4
earlier.
That's
PM would
not
be
till
great.
7.
So 4 PM on the 5th, but does that really work for Kim or?
The 6th, the 5th
6th?
didn't work.
Sorry, 6th.
Works for me.
on the 4th,
6th.
The 6th, which is the Wednesday.
all right. 5,
We
6,
canceled
at
the
what
spring break.
time?
4 PM?
Okay. And we need streets now.
Yep.
No,
we
those
Those
do.
okay.
are all the meetings
Going
that I
on
am invited
Down
to.
the street on their bikes.
Streets is next.
Okay, hang on. I have emails.
Bikes 10 feet apart.
Hold that thought.
You got an email from Mike?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I asked him what, oh, let's just look under Mike. I got a couple emails. And then some. All right, here we go. Most of his are going to be during the day. Is there anybody that can't do during the day for Mike?
Depends on the day. Otherwise, if it's a day I'm
Yeah.
free, I'm fine.
Well,
Okay,
that-
It
what's the
depends
date
on the
today?
day for me too, other than if I know ahead of time, I can switch days on something else.
Are you at all available this Thursday, Friday, David, or every Thursday, Friday, Saturday you're out?
Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday is my current work schedule. I sit on the streets committee, so that makes it tough.
Okay, so the only option I have is Wednesday at 10:30.
The 6th?
um,
Are you talking
No,
about
this
the
week,
29th?
We're talking, yeah,
This
which Wednesday?
this Wednesday.
29th.
Day after tomorrow?
Yep, or at 1:30.
1:30 is
1:30 would be
fine.
better.
What's that?
1:30 would be better for me than 10:30.
Okay, hang on. Monday and Tuesday. He sent me 2 emails, so I gotta double check this. Okay, so what did I say that? Wednesday at 1:30?
Wednesday.
The
1:30.
4/29 at 1:30.
Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna email him tonight, triple check that that's okay. We'll get it posted first thing tomorrow morning. Actually, I'm probably lying. It won't be first thing in the morning. So we'll get it posted tomorrow. for 1:30 on 4/29.
Well, wait, a minute. Who's the third person on the committee?
Think it's
David, Tony, Joe.
Joe?
Joe. Yeah.
Joe listening? Joe?
No, is it Joe? Because Tony, myself, and Joe are
I'm
community.
here.
Yeah, well, he's on more than one, so,
Oh, yeah, I mean, are we the same group?
I think
Okay,
so.
that's fine.
Joe, you're on streets, I think. Is that right? I'm pretty sure you are.
Yes.
Okay, 1:30
Community
on
streets and communications.
1:30 on Wednesday.
Day after tomorrow. Joe?
He's cutting in and out.
Okay. Yes, that's okay with me.
Okay, there we go.
okay.
Okay.
We got an okay.
Can you hear
from
me?
Joe. Now
Yeah.
we
Okay, so I'm gonna work on getting all of these posted tomorrow. I'm lying, I'm not posting them. I'm just gonna do the one. I'm going to now. Is
May I
everybody
ask
okay?
first, safety is scheduled out for,
Yes.
Well, they did
Safety
it
scheduled.
quarterly.
okay.
Yeah, and until we get something back from Columbus, we will just continue to hold a quarterly meeting.
Okay,
And there is nothing from Columbus yet, so everybody knows. Is everybody okay with me scheduling all of these meetings and sending them all out and I can put a title in each one, safety, whatever, just so I send them all at the same time? Are you guys okay with that and sending them in advance?
Yes.
Because if not, then I forget. I'm just gonna be
Send them
honest.
in advance.
Email.
I'm
Yeah, that's
confused.
fine.
Tiffany.
Don't you have to
Tiffany,
send
I could do them for you if you want me to help you out, but if you've got it, that's fine too.
Doesn't matter to me. I just like doing them all at the same time. That way I don't forget.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't care. Whoever wants to do them
Well-
can do them. Doesn't matter to me.
We do get a little advance notice, don't we? When you send them all at once, I misunderstood something.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm like, my plan is to go in there and do them in like 5 minutes, or Diane can do them in the next
Oh,
day or
yeah.
whatever, in the next, well, obviously the one for Wednesday has to be done fast, but,
It would be great if you could do them as meeting invites instead of emails. That way they show up on a calendar and. they
Diane,
can
you're gonna
the
have to do it
link
then,
and-
because I don't know how to do it.
okay. All
I
right,
haven't figured that out. Somebody's gonna have to show me. Sorry, Brian,
Okay.
I don't know how to do it.
No,
I'll
that's
do it.
And Diane, if you can invite every single person,
yes.
um,
Every
And then
single
I ha-
person meaning the administrative staff as well?
well, they do actually, I know that they were never
I
invited.
don't care, I'll just.
No,
yes.
they would like, sometimes they might come in, sometimes they won't, and it's just a matter of them knowing what's going on. So I would rather invite them and them not show up than not inviting them and having the opportunity to. So, but same thing, I mean, I've been giving them to all, Eric, if he wants to chime in, he can. It's better just to get your list and send them to everybody on the same one and let them decide if they want to come or not.
All right,
And then, and if you're doing them, go ahead and do, the 2 council meetings. And then
Okay.
do you guys want to decide
And the
now
work
or
session?
later?
and the
The
work
work session.
session, is the work session done?
I haven't, we didn't do it, or we did do it last time. So yeah, everybody just needs to decide if they want to do it, and somebody needs to determine what they want to talk about.
Council.
If somebody wants to come up, again, if we want
Thought
to
we
go
were
back and talk
talking
about the
about
lakes or
permitting.
permitting, whatever you guys decide you want to talk
Yeah.
about.
I don't know.
you
Yeah,
guys
it seems
want
like
to
there's a need to discuss this with permitting of, I know
Yeah.
Tony's been on the permitting kick for a while to figure out what is and isn't. So,
That's
Well,
pretty
and to me, the
moderate.
permitting goes hand in hand with the fees. Maybe you don't agree, but I think the fees, if you're going to talk about permitting, you need to talk about the fees.
Oh, it's a whole kit and
Thing.
caboodle there, yeah.
we'll talk about it.
All right.
Okay, and somebody emailed me about the ice cream truck. I missed something good, I guess.
Yes, you did. You missed it. Everybody, Taco Tuesdays tomorrow, tortilla, you can order online now.
Or
that's it.
where?
Tortilla will be in the village tomorrow. You go online, order today.
Ah,
Yes,
that's the name, Tortilla?
tortilla. You can find it
Sign
at
of the
Street
food
Food
truck.
Fair and pull up Minerva Park.
Oh,
Is there-
okay.
Is our next regularly scheduled council meeting Monday, the 11th?
We have 2 back-to-back. Don't forget that, Diane. I believe it is the 11th and the 18th, if I'm not mistaken.
The 11th would be the second Monday. The 18th is the third Monday.
Because the following Monday is Memorial Day and we do not have anything. So no, there is not a work session this month.
Huh, the 18th is my birthday. That's interesting.
There, you have a council meeting.
Well, we have our
Council
normal.
meeting on my
This is-
birthday too. Get over it.
We
I got
don't, we
6
do it.
video conferences on the 11th, but they're all daytime, so.
You know, we do have a work session. It's just, that we don't have the middle of the month work session.
Correct. The first Saturday.
Right.
Yes.
We have the first Saturday, right.
And then if you, same thing, if you want to send out that one too.
All right.
And then the 2 council meetings and then all of these.
Okay.
Sounds
That's it.
good.
Move to
Rock
adjourn.
on.
Move to adjourn.
Bueno, SOS todos para mí.
All right,
Move
guys.
to
I'm out.
adjourn.
All right.
Second.
That's everything for
Bye.
me. If you press 2.
Again, I'm sorry for showing up a little bit on the tardy side. I just couldn't get the
Things
link to work,
happen.
but
All right, we got some quality time out of you. That's all right.
all right, I'll talk to you community guys, and everybody else when the times come. Have a great night, everyone.
Hi,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
David, is that your white BMW that's parked on the street outside your place?
I wish it was.
It's always in the way of something. We'll get to that someday.
We'll get to it someday. I don't own a BMW. I'm a nurse. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.